Hello, welcome in. As you're coming in, I'd love to know who's joining us. So if you can drop in the chat a little bit about your role, what district you're joining from, and what grade level you are specifically thinking of for this K through 5 STEM grant. I'd love to be able to tailor our conversation a little bit towards your specific needs. Welcome in as you're coming in. My name is Hope Thompson. I am a manager of curriculum and instruction with NextWave STEM, and I'm excited to share with you some resources to help you with the OSIT grant for K through 5 STEM. All right, and as you're coming in, we'd love to know who's with us. If you can share a little bit about your role and your district and your student grade level that you're focusing on. We'd love to see that in the chat. All right, so just to get started, I'm going to give a little bit of information on NextWave STEM and who we are and how our offerings can work well with the OSIT K through 5 STEM grant. So at NextWave STEM, we have one overarching goal, and that's to provide students with K through 12 with emerging technologies and workshops and activities that give them exposure to these topics and skills to be prepared for careers in the future. So we focus on 7 pathways: robotics, drones, 3D printing and digital fabrication, innovation, sustainability, AI, and game design. And all of our work goes from K through 12. All of our courses focus on student inquiry and being student-led and providing a lot of room for exploration in each of these topics. All of our content from K through 12 is standards aligned, whether those are national standards, such as the Computer Science Teachers Association standards or NGSS, but we also have state alignment. 11 of our courses have 50 state alignment, and that delineates exactly what Nevada standards are included as well. So our content, as you can see here, varies from K all the way up through 12 in each of these categories. But every one of the every one of the boxes you see here is 15 lessons and an entire course. And they may also have additional equipment depending on the topic. So as you can see, some of our courses are no hardware required whatsoever. Some are hardware optional. And some do have a corresponding technology, like a robot that goes along with our robotics courses. So depending on what your goals are for your school and for your students, you may choose different lessons, different topics from this chart to meet the needs of your particular classroom. All of our content, in addition to having those STEM standards alignment, they do have other standards brought in as well. We have ELA and math corresponding standards, as well as a lot of opportunities to overlap with core science. Like life science, our hydroponics courses are a great connection there as well. So when I'm talking about every one of these individual lessons, individual courses, I want to show you a little bit what that looks like. Our lesson plans are standards aligned. I'm a former educator myself, so I can vouch for the quality of these standards aligned lesson plans. They're highly, highly supportive. And we also include presentations, lesson activities and worksheets, assessments, and professional development resources, so the teachers are up to speed on the content as well. We know that teachers have their plates full, so we do what we can to stay on the cutting edge of these technologies and provide you with the resources to confidently lead these programs. So all of these resources, including a weekly office hours, is included with a year's license to our content. So as it relates to the OSIT K through 5 grant, we're closely aligned with the goals of the grant for hands-on, high-quality, inquiry-based STEM resources, both in curriculum and in hardware. Whether you're looking for your classroom or you're looking at a school grant, we are a great fit for this particular application, but we want to help you by providing some language that can help complete that application. So I want to point you to our STEM grant sample application available on our website that just has some information and some specific details for our program to help you get started in completing that application. We're also available to help out as you're completing these. So please know that if you reach out to our team, we're more than happy to help complete your application and make sure it's as successful as it can be. So as I mentioned, our course is very supportive. All of our courses have these resources available to teachers, lesson plans, presentations, worksheets, and assessments, as well as ongoing PD resources to keep our educators up to speed at a self-paced model throughout the course. We also have equipment kits that are based on a class of 24 students. And many of our courses, these are completely sustainable. I know that that's also something that is outlined by the grant, that they should be used year after year or repeated. Any of our technologies like robots, drones, the 3D printers, all of these can be reused year after year. And the curriculum, once licensed, can be reused as many times as you'd like within that year. So if you want to have all of your 3rd through 5th graders engage in our game design course, you can teach that repeatedly without paying for an additional license. If you want to do it in school, after school, as a break, out of school time program, all of that is up to you. Once you have that license, how you implement is entirely in your control. And I want to spend some time with this, our course offerings up for you so that you can get an idea of what our content is like. All of these also have available sample lessons if you're interested in seeing what our content is like. That can also be found on our website alongside the STEM grant example model language. So in order to make the most of our time and make sure that you have the resources you need to successfully complete an application for our content, I want to open up the floor to any questions that you may have or any other details I can give to help guide your applications. Feel free to drop questions in the chat, or if you'd like to come off of mute, you can also ask them out loud. And I do want to highlight, Paula has dropped the link to our example STEM grant language in the chat as well. So if you want to grab a copy of that, it is linked there in the chat. And I'd be happy to go into a little more detail on any of these topics if you'd like to hear more about one of our courses, just to make sure that's something that is aligned with your goals. Happy to dive in.
Is anyone applying for the OSIT grant or any other grants for STEM?
Sorry, I just learned about this today. It was put on my calendar, so whoever just asked about applying for grants, I didn't even know these grants were available to apply for. So
Yeah, and part of our goal is to, we do outreach to schools, so then you are aware, and why we're doing the webinar is so you're aware about the grant and how you can leverage a solution like NextWave STEM, whether through this grant or any other grants you might be working on, or if you're doing your school budget, this is an easy way to include STEM in your plans. is the idea.
And I could give a little bit more detail on that. The OSIT office has open right now a K through 5 STEM grant that can award $2,000 based on a classroom or $25,000 based to a school for evidence-based, high quality, hands-on STEM curricula and programming. The grant is really well aligned because our content is all very hands-on, experiential. Our students are getting a lot of time in each of these technologies. We follow the 5E lesson plan. So we do a lot of exploration before we do a lot of explaining. The students get to experience these technologies by building video games of their own, coding drone flight to solve problems, learning how to code a smart watch to react to the physical space. And they are 15 lessons long each. So if students were to engage in a session weekly, that can go through 2 courses per year, roughly, throughout the school year, or you can add additional programs in to have a more frequent lesson format. So because the grant is designed to increase interest in and achievement in STEM, it's a great match for our content, which is not just about exposure, but also about building some of those skills as well.
I also just learned about it, and I just wanted to make sure that I wanted to go through the information that you've given us already with the websites and the directional OSIT website, so we can go to that. So if we have any questions, would you be the person to reach out to if we had any questions?
Yeah, if you have questions about NextWave STEM program, we are an approved program with the OSIT department.
Okay.
So if you're looking to include any of these programs, yes, we can help you get those included in your proposal.
Great, we appreciate it.
And we have actually made it really simple. We sent a link in the chat where you can see the template, and you'll be able to just copy paste a lot of the language in your grant application to
Great.
secure funding for NextWave STEM programs.
Okay.
Yeah, but outside of that, if you have any questions, yeah, please reach out to us. We'll love to help.
We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So, again, to reiterate, you can pick and choose courses, and based on your interest and the grade levels, and include the verbiage in your grant application for those specific courses only. And we work with Tracy directly from the department there as well. So that's our point of contact at OSIT.
And I want to highlight that Paula has dropped the link to the OSIT website as well. If you want to take a look at that grant, you can see it is for K through 5 specifically. So we would be looking at our courses. I'm going to go back to our course chart. In robotics, drones, AI, 3D, innovation, sustainability, and game design, we have K through 5 courses across those different topics. If you're looking at a full school grant, so that was for the $25,000 grant, we could be looking at multiple courses, picking out a few for the K through 2 students and a few for the third through fifth. And then also thinking about whether you want to think towards integration with other subjects. Something like our sustainability pathway, our hydroponics courses are a great way to revitalize plant life units. Our K through 2nd grade in particular is going to hit on a lot of the plant life, plant needs, all of the science standards that students are already getting during those years, but introduce some additional STEM exposure and build more data collection and experiment design skills at the same time. Likewise, our circuitry course, the 3rd through 5th, a great connection to some physical science standards as they're working through electricity on that one. And then our robotics, drones, AI courses from K through 5, all great ways to introduce computer science or to reinforce computer science. Any combination of the 3 of those pathways is going to study the same foundational concepts of computer science, of algorithmic thinking and sequence and working with commands. Our K through 2 students are more likely to be working on low tech, highly conceptual introductions to these concepts. And then our 3rd through 5th graders are pairing those concepts with physical examples of the technology. So whether your focus is on computer science as STEM, as science integration as STEM, or even finding some art tie-ins as well, our AI and our 3D technology courses both at the K through 5 level focus on arts and discussing the use of these technologies in the arts. Yes, I see a question in the chat. The grant is specifically for K through 5 STEM learning to increase the number of students who are participating in STEM programs come middle and high school. So we want to increase our students' exposure to these topics in K through 5 earlier on. And I'm going to drop in the chat a little bit more information on the specifics of the grant. We've gone over a few details here, but some details can be found in that link that I've just dropped in. So our offerings would include the STEM-related equipment, technology, instructional kits, and curriculum that are outlined as eligible uses of the funds. And something else to keep in mind is that sustainability and future funding is a stipulation as well. So for our content that is including hardware, we would be looking at courses that are most sustainable, like robotics and drones, where those technologies are used year after year. If you do already have some STEM technology in your schools as well, you can look just to our curricula to fit in some learning objectives to use those technologies. So if you have a 3D printer, our 3D printing content is device agnostic. So whatever technology you have in the building, we can also fit a program to meet those needs.
Can I ask you to share some of the accountability pieces for on the teacher's end for, you know, when you get grants or when you get programs in, there's an accountability piece to go back to the grant to ensure the usage of it. Can you share some of that?
Some of that reporting you may need to check directly with the office just to be sure, you know, those reportings are going to be through the OSIT office and not through NextWave STEM. As for what you'll use for that reporting, we do have formative and summative assessment in our coursework. So you can issue a pre and post test to measure student learning when you're implementing one of our courses. You will also have some artifacts of learning like student worksheets throughout the course as well. And thank you. Paula has dropped some of those accountability items in the chat.
Yes, I saw that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Sure. If you have anything in mind in terms of your school's goals, technology you already have around, I want to make the most of this time for you. So please feel free to ask any questions, even if they are site specific. I'm happy to think through some of them with you during this time or to set up some time for us to really dive in. These applications, I should note, are due, I believe, on November the 21st.
Hope, there is a question in the chat about if it can use for schools or after school programs as well. The document you sent says formal and informal STEM teaching, which means formal during the school day and informal outside school hours, such as after school clubs, STEM nights, or summer enrichment. So yes, for after school programs as well.
And a lot of our programs do use our curriculum for both. So they are written with a high academic bend. So they are suitable for formal in-school programs. But if you're looking to institute an after-school STEM club, a robotics club, or anything similar, you can also use our curricula for that as well. A lot of our educators choose to sort of keep their foot on the gas academically and follow those lesson plans to a T during the school day, and they might have a little bit more of an engagement priority in after-school programs, but we've seen both. Additionally, our programming is highly modular. So our lessons are written to be about an hour long, but they are in that 5E lesson format. And so they're really easy to break into smaller pieces. If you've only got 25 minutes to give to STEM today, it's already pretty laid out in our lesson plan where those appropriate breaks would be. All right, please continue to drop any questions into the chat or feel free to come off of mute. I am an educator myself. I'm not afraid of a bit of wait time, so I will hang out for quite some time if you all have any questions that we can help answer.
And if your district is planning for STEM for this school year or next school year, definitely connect with us. We would love to help you. Like I said, even at, besides this grant, with your, if you guys are budgeting for STEM, want that to be boost your STEM program, we would love to help you get the curriculum and professional development for the teachers.
And if you want to dive in and get a more specific picture of any one of these courses, to look at our sample lessons, our learning outcomes for all 15 plus lessons in the unit, please feel free to book a time with us to really go through our content and how it aligns with your goals, and how we can help support you, whether on this grant or in other ways. All right, we will stay on for a few more minutes to answer any questions, but I thank all of you for your participation. If you're just learning about this grant for the first time with us today, and you want to sort of do your homework and come back, please reach back out to us and check out some of our model language on our website. We'd be more than happy to help you make the most of this potential grant for your school. Thank you all so much. All right, if you're just joining us, I'm afraid we are wrapping up, but we are happy to stay on and answer a few questions. If you have any questions on how NextWave STEM can help align with your application for the OSIT K-5 grant. I see we have a couple people who have just joined in. Oh, great. We are going to stay on for a couple minutes. If you have any questions, no question too specific at this point, I'm happy to dive in on your school needs, your particular application, or give a little bit more context on our specific course learning objectives. All right, thanks, Mike. Hope to hear from you. All right, then I think we will wrap up there. Please check out our links in the chat. We've provided a link to the OSIT grant application, our curriculum samples at the NextWave STEM website, and our sample language for the grant application. And please feel free to use this QR code here to book a meeting with us if you'd like to discuss further. Thanks for your time.